We need to focus now on the title race because it was a fascinating weekend a week ago. City, as we expect, dominant against Luton Town, but there were big slip-ups for Liverpool at home to Crystal Palace and then Arsenal at home to Aston Villa. So in terms of how the odds have changed since a week ago and those three significant results, this is how things have been seen now. Manchester City, the odds-on favourites to make it 4 Premier League titles in a row. Arsenal 10-3, Liverpool now at 11-2. And in terms of, we like to mention this every now and again, the supercomputer is looking at the title race at Man City with a 69.75% chance of making it yet another Premier League title. Merce, you were in the Super Sunday studio 6 days ago. You were typically and wonderfully forthright in terms of where Arsenal's defeat against Aston Villa left them and their title chances. You said 100% over. Nearly a week on, are you standing by that?
Well, the Opta's only about 12% behind me, isn't it? I mean, ain't bad.
Yeah,
it's not that tongue-in-cheek.
You're human, you're not a computer.
No, I don't. We're talking 6 games to go. 6 games, it's in Man City's hands. It's in Man City's hands with 6 games to go. They are proven. They do it every year when it counts, you know. And when you look at during the last 4 or 5 seasons, when they've lost games, the season's been finished. They've won it. Before that, they've won 12 on the trot, 13 on the trot, gone 14. You know, they're 40 games at home. They're 17 undefeated. The only thing that you got a case with Arsenal, and the Opta gives it to the like 17% or 12, whatever it was, is they play their next 2 games before Man City. And that's massive. Because if they go and beat Wolves and Chelsea, then all of a sudden, Man City have to win their 2 games in hand to go above them. So that's the only advantage, but I just can't. I can't see Man City not winning their next 6 games. I just, you know, and people go, oh, but look what happened at Real Madrid the other night. They destroyed Real Madrid. It was embarrassing. It was cringeworthy. They absolutely rinsed them, and they couldn't score the goal. The problem is, what I could put in perspective is Arsenal go and get beat by Villa, under pressure, get beat. Liverpool, under pressure, get beat by Palace. Only 2 weeks before that, Man City were playing them 2 teams under severe pressure. They put 4 past Villa and they put 4 past Palace. Put it in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, they've gone 4-4-5 in 3 games. They've just blown everybody away. You know, I don't know what everybody thinks on here, but they're just proven. They're not going into, you know, waters that they've never been in before. They've been here too many times. And if you could see Jurgen Klopp's interview, couldn't you? He just knew, didn't he? Yeah. He knew. You know, he just went, he knows.
But the thing is, Clinton, you've got on the one side of the fence what Merce is saying there in terms of predictability. Man City are wonderfully predictable at this time of year. They get into gear.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw what happened against Real Madrid midweek, utterly dominant, but not able to get past Ancelotti's side, losing out on penalties in the end. But then the flip side of that, we've just been talking about the FA Cup. Football at times can be wonderfully unpredictable. Look at the 97-98 season. I mean, a bookie paid out on United, who were 11 points clear of Blackburn, 12 points clear of Arsenal. Arsenal went on a 10-game winning run and ended up winning the league. Now, I know we're in a different era now, but stranger things can happen. Why is everyone so confident that City don't slip up from here?
Because they've been there many times and done it. That's why. And at the moment, listen, even more so now, I think that they've been knocked out of the Champions League as well, because this is what they put all their eggs in to this, winning the Premier League and also winning the FA Cup. They'll be disappointed. Not every time I agree with Merce, but he made some really valid points there and good points. I agree. I think it's Man City's to lose at the moment. They're the type of team who can go on a fantastic run. He's right. Arsenal have to play Wolves and Chelsea. All Arsenal can do is do their job. Beat Wolves, beat Chelsea, then throw the pressure back to Man City. Problem is, these Man City players and that manager, they can handle the pressure. They've been there. I've said it all along, even when Arsenal and Liverpool were ahead of them. Man City will win the Premier League because they just time after time, they keep going. Even against Real Madrid, they were the better team. It's just on another day, if they finish, put the ball in the back of the net and their finishing was better, they would have won it and they would have gone on and won the Champions League if they had beat Real Madrid. But I think it's Man City's to lose. But Liverpool and Arsenal have to keep going. I still do think, though, Si, it could go to the last day of the season, but I just feel Man City are just too clinical at the moment.
West Ham at home on the final day of the season for Manchester City. Let's reflect on Arsenal and what happened to them 6 days ago. Tim, as you heard from Merce, who was pretty conclusive about what that defeat against Aston Villa means in terms of the Gunners' title hopes. I mean, the choker tag has been used quite a lot in the last few days. Is that a little cheap?
Very.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've done a great job. They're up against a juggernaut in Man City. We've seen how many times they've won it. Prolific winners, magnificent players, the best team in the world we're talking about here in Man City. Mercer's absolutely right. Real Madrid, it was embarrassing, but they got the job done. Real Madrid know how to win in that competition. By hook or by crook, they got the job done. Villa, defeat. I thought Villa controlled the game in the second half. I really did. I think they've done a job on them. Arsenal started the game very well. They didn't get the early goal, didn't settle them down. They got anxious, and Unai Emery's now done the double on Moko Arteta. His old team, he knew how to do it. They pushed forward. There was still probably 12 minutes left here, with the injury time. And they leave him, Ollie Watkins, fantastic finish, but they leave him on his own there with Smith Rowe. Poor decision. Get anxious, chase the game. No need to do it. Stay calm. You see Man City, when they get over the line time and time again, when they go behind, doesn't faze them. Just keep playing the same way. It's a trusted process. They know they can get the job done. They panicked there. I'll give them a chance. I'll still give them a chance, but I think less of a chance now. They're out of the Bayern Munich beat them. I think it's a real problem when you take defeat. Disappointment of defeat, especially in the Premier League and then the Champions League. Don't listen to that nonsense. Oh, there's only one thing to concentrate on now. No, you start getting fatigued now. You lose football matches. You get a little bit depressed in your mind.
That adds to fatigue, doesn't it?
It starts telling your body you're tired. And then certainly when you're winning, when you're looking at the other team, like Man City, and you're looking at them win comfortably, and there's nothing else, you can end up empty-handed. Everyone's been singing from the rooftops about Arsenal all season. They could end up with 0. The same as Tottenham.
And we praise them a lot, rightfully, certainly since the turn of the year, Sue, for how different they looked at this time last year. You look back to December, those back-to-back Premier League defeats. They exit the FA Cup at the hands of Liverpool. They get into 2024, and in terms of the Premier League, just go on this fantastic run. With games running out and the pressure increasing, as we said, right at the top, are they capable of coming back from last weekend and going on a similar run? Because they're going to need to do that, given what everyone is saying about City at this time of the season. Yeah,
I think they are. Going back to where you said, are Arsenal choking, or that's the fear, maybe the fans are thinking that. I think they're better equipped this year. I think the players have got that experience, the manager have got that experience from last year. I think when you look at the two games, the Villa game and obviously the Bayern game, they were small margins. Aston Villa were brilliant, tactically got things spot on, but in that first half, they had opportunities to go and win the game. Could that have been a different game second half? And again, Bayern, just a real experienced Champions League side. So you would expect they've got real sort of leaders and characters in that side, which again, we've praised since the start of the year. So I think they can bounce back. I think that this is a real test of the character, but I'm sure that they can come through that.
How big a test is Wolves away today, later in the Saturday night football?
It's huge, because you have to bounce back. Otherwise, people will be speaking about them again. And I think they've been magnificent. They've just come up against a Manchester City team that have been there and done it. I mean, last week, I just thought it was a little bit naive for Arsenal. That they tried to chase the game. They were put everything on this with still 7 games to go, including that game. You look at the game and go, all right, we get out of here with a 0-0, worst case scenario. I just thought when they went behind and they started chasing the game, they lost the way a little bit. But that's what happens sometimes with pressure. I don't believe they've crumbled or anything like that. Pressure's got to be. It was just a game where Aston Villa can beat you. They beat them at Villa Park and they beat them last week. It's one of those today against Wolves. I don't see it being easy. On the back of the midweek defeat, losing to Bayern, the disappointment, they'll be in the dressing room thinking, wow, we've lost it. It's still tight. It's not over yet. I think Man City are going to win it. I've always said all season that, but you can't now all of a sudden lose your thought, lose your process has got you into a position where they are now and competitive, and you've got to get back to level terms, your mindset to go there. Let's show everyone out there. Everyone's wrote us off now. Let's try and go and beat Wolves. But I think it's a tough game tonight at Wolves.
I think they haven't choked. Last season, you look at...
It's an easy... People love narratives.
Oh, of course they do. It's
they?
Lazy, but people can look at it. Last season, it was West Ham and Southampton. This year, it's Aston Villa, 4th in the league, and Bayern Munich, a juggernaut of a Champions League team away. It's a different kind. You hope now they go on and hopefully finish it off and win the rest of their games and make Man City go perfect. And then you hold your hands up, and it hasn't been too bad. You look at the Villa game and the 2 games over Christmas, I think it was against West Ham and Fulham. Bar that, it hasn't been too much wrong with Arsenal. They are improving. And as Tim said, they're just coming up against the best team in the world.
Very quickly, before we talk about Liverpool, his final day in the National League, 12:15 kickoff. Southend have hopes of making the playoffs. One playoff spot remaining, and they made a good start against Rochdale. Gus Scott Morris with the goal on 8 minutes. And Dorking Wanderers relegated a week ago, leading Hartlepool United by a goal to nil. Charlie Carter with the early goal. In that game, back we go to the Premier League title race. We need to talk about Liverpool. Is it too simplistic, Clinton? I mean, Crystal Palace last week at Anfield, absolutely brilliant, terrific performance for them.
Yeah.
Is it too simplistic to look at Liverpool, look at what happened midweek against Atalanta to say this is a team running out of gas?
I don't know if they're running out of gas. What they're doing is they're missing big chances.
2 goals in his last 5. He had a wonderful opportunity against Atalanta, scored for the penalty spot, and then came off his shin and dinked it past the left post. In terms of getting Salah back to his best, he clearly hasn't been since returning from injury. What does Klopp do over the remainder of the season? Does he give him a rest, keep playing in the hope that at some point he clicks? What does he do?
No rest.
If he gives him a rest, who's he going to rest him for? You know, I think you cannot give that man a rest. His numbers speak for itself over the years. You know, he's proven. He's just having a spell, and he's having a spell at the wrong time. He's had chances. I agree. I don't think Palace were great. I think they were great fighting. I thought they dug in, and then with Eze and Elise, they were a different animal.
Yeah.
But I think if you looked at the balance of play and the chances, I mean, they could have won 6 or 7 there, Liverpool, and the chances what they created, they have to be colder in front of goal, take a deep breath. You know, Nunes is an erratic finisher, he always has been in my eyes. And then the one falls to Jota, you want it to finish full 2, and unfortunately someone gets in the way. They put their bodies on the line. Palace, they really dug in for the team, stuck together, but it wasn't great. And Liverpool should have won that game. It's not like Arsenal where they never created enough chances. They created a
Right, final chat on the title race. As we look at the final fixtures, so everyone seems absolutely convinced there's going to be no slip-ups from the champion City between now and the end of the season. If there was going to be a slip-up of those final fixtures for Pep Guardiola's side, where might it be?
I still think there's going to be a twist. It's going to be difficult. We know that Manchester City are very capable of going all the way through and not slipping up, but you look at Tottenham away. I think the home games, you pretty much say, well, Manchester City's so strong at home, as are, you know, the other sides. I know Liverpool have had a little dip recently. Again, you look at Nottingham Forest, will be fighting where they are in the league. So you'd probably say those, but I think last week was obviously Manchester City's week, wasn't it, with Arsenal and Liverpool losing. It's just a case of now just going about their business. How are they going to respond to going out the Champions League? Tired legs, tired minds. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be refocused on now doing the double. I think Pep Guardiola said it's going to be so difficult to do the double treble, almost impossible, I think he said. And it's just shown that it is. Even a team like that, it is so difficult to continue and maintain that. So, yeah, I still think there's going to be another twist to this title race, but it's difficult to say where. It's probably one that we wouldn't even predict.